Hello again.
Back again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
1962. Watchtower. Bound volume. Watchtower Topples its own kingdom. Page 693 comes from the November 15th, 1962 Watchtower, entitled The Benefits of Subjection to Authorities. I want to read from paragraphs 9 and 10. For those of you that are trying to take the Watchtower Bible Tract Society to court to fight any type of litigation, any type, doesn't matter, get your lawyers familiar with what Watchtower wrote in these two paragraphs. Paragraph 9. Worldly authorities render a judgment and punish persons, whether they are inside the congregation or outside. You have to make your lawyers comprehend that when the Watchtower Bible Tract Society uses the word congregation, they are referring specifically to themselves. They're not referring to the Catholic Church. They're not referring to the Moonies. They're not referring to any other religion other than themselves. You have to make your lawyers comprehend that word is inclusive or exclusive to the Watchtower Bible Tract Society only. So going on, if they violate the laws of decency and good order, the violators have no right to complain at such punishment.
You know, Watchtower is doing that in the Netherlands right now, complaining. They're being hauled before the courts for punishment for hiding child abuse, and they're complaining about such punishment now.
It gets better.
Oh, I know.
As Paul showed by his words before Caesar's judgment seat. And they're referring you to Acts 25:11. Going on. Hence, the Christian congregation, aka Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, the People's Pulpit, whatever 501c3 entity that they become is inclusive with the Christian congregation, because they're all one and the same. It's the same tree with multiple branches. Hence, the Christian congregation cannot protect any of its members, which would include the 8 governing idiots. They cannot protect any of its members if they steal, smuggle, commit bigamy, murder, libel, defraud, and so forth.
Child abuse.
Child abuse. That's the and so forth. The congregation must release such guilty members to punishment by worldly authorities. Since the guilty break the laws of the land and thus oppose the authority, they are taking a stand against God's arrangement.
Which reminds me of what's going on in the Netherlands. They are turning to the world, this Cessner organization, to defend them, and they're taking a stand against God's arrangement.
Yep. Paragraph 10. The Christian congregation, once again,
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses, the People's Pulpit, whatever 501c3 they shrink back to.
The Christian congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses?
The main trunk of the tree is the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. Watchtower Bible Tract Society. It's one in the same with multiple branches. The Christian congregation has no orders from God. It has no right to protect such opposers and lawbreakers from the due punishment by the authority of the land.
So just take your lickings from the courts on these lawsuits because you say yourself not to oppose them.
You have no orders from God. It's right there in black and white. Going on. We cannot hinder, oppose, or condemn the execution of the crema, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or judgment by aiding or shielding lawbreakers. So when you sit in your little judicial hearings in your star chambers and you are told to destroy your notes, are you not shielding lawbreakers? You are doing that exactly. To do so would put the Christian congregation also in opposition to God's arrangement. You topple your own kingdom, Watchtower. Besides letting the crema or judgment take its course upon offending members would bring reproach upon God's people, the congregation may disfellowship such lawbreakers. The congregation does not want to deserve. See, the congregation, now we're talking about karma. What goes around comes around. When you hide the horrific child abuse problem that you have had for decades, karma has caught up with you. The congregation does not want to deserve a crema or judgment with the lawbreakers by siding or cooperating with them by opposing the worldly authority. It wants no reproach. But you've done that, Watchtower. You've actually brought this reproach upon yourself. See, back in 1962, it was relatively easy to hide the child abuse. It was relatively easy to hide any subtle law breaking that you were doing. It was relatively easy to form another corporation and hide in another corner of the world. But you can't do that no more. And this is why it is so important for you friends to pore over this literature, because Watchtower topples its own kingdom.
And just like it said in paragraph 9, the congregation must release such guilty members to punishment by worldly authorities. This means reporting all of these allegations to the authorities. You cannot get any more plainer than that.
So thank you to our source for sending us these 2 paragraphs.
He also sent me this, and I tried to do a video about it, and I was laughing so hard about the Cooties reference that I couldn't even do it seriously. Because, I mean, really, Watchtower? This just shows how much of a wackadoodle Rutherford was. Now, I just happen to have the 1934 book, Jehovah. On page 72, the last paragraph at the bottom. The 3rd plague came upon the ancient Israelites as well as upon the Egyptians, which means that in order for a professed Christian to be pleasing and acceptable to the Lord, such must be separate from the world and clean. Hence, the cleansing of God's sanctuary is involved and includes the removing of the elective elders as parasites. I'll just leave that at that, but I will reread it. And includes the removing of the elective elders as parasites, and which must take place before God's organization is entirely clean. So were they right about this prophecy? And that the organization is being cleaned out now of all these parasite elders who might be guilty of child abuse or maybe hiding child abuse? That's the first thing I thought of. Is this organization seems to be being cleaned out. You're being abandoned by your God.
Your governing bodies are being named as defendants.
Yeah. And they quote Isaiah 52:11, looks like it's from the King James. Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord, which we know they're not, because of them hiding this child abuse problem. Now, on page 73, I'm going to put the picture up here. This... See, I cannot do this with a straight face. They have a sign that says Cooties powder. Now, for those of you of the younger generation, this was a big thing when we were kids going to school. Oh my God, you got the Cooties.
You got Cooties.
Yeah.
Don't
Cooties.
touch me. You got Cooties.
Yeah. Well, their sign here says Cooties powder, the world remedy, and it has a picture of, looks like a fat banker who kind of resembles Rutherford to me, and like this other priest. And they're like picking through their head looking for lice.
You know, much like, a monkey would groom another monkey.
Yeah, and it talks about the plague. Well, Watchtower has a plague. They've got the Cooties. So going over to page 74, the first full paragraph, about halfway down. Daniel 8:14, Jehovah has mercy upon Zion. That is the visible members of his organization, and favors them by cleansing them. So take your punishment from God. And it goes along with the article Mike was just reading.
Exactly.
Don't try to protect yourselves. Don't try to protect perpetrators. Accept this discipline from Jehovah.
But see, they're not accepting the discipline because they know he really doesn't exist, Jehovah's Witnesses. What exists for them in your organization is the money, the greenbacks.
Yeah.
That's what exists. That's what is their God.
Yeah. Then it talks about cleansing, and it says, this dust of the earth is not lousy, but clean, by the grace of the Lord God. Jehovah declares that the unclean organization of Satan shall die like a louse. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. Hebrew, like a louse. Isaiah 51:6. So Watchtower, just accept your punishment. Don't try to defend yourself. Don't hire these cult activists, or anti-cult activists to try to defend you. Just take your punishment and call the authorities on these perpetrators. Simple.
Once again, it's all too easy because everything we need has already been in print. It's already there. We just have to know how to use it and get your lawyers to comprehend it.
And Watchtower's full of Cooties.
Of course they are. Of course. And there ain't any amount of cootie powder in this world to get rid of the Cooties of Watchtower. This world simply cannot produce enough cootie powder. Rutherford, you're just gonna love that idiot, don't you?
I love that guy. I mean, he has given us more laughs, about 7 years than anything. And if you guys want some laughs also, just do a search in our YouTube channels of Rutherford. There's so many, like when they were promoting the book Angels and Women, and it said that demons wear tweed and drink whiskey,
They're just a laughing stock. That's all they are. And it's really a shame, though, that as laughable as this is, you step back, get away from the laughter, and look at the seriousness and look at the harm.
Yeah.
Look at the harm that this organization has caused.
Yeah. And
It's despicable.
And they won't even follow their own rules. That's the sad part.
Yeah, it's despicable.
Yeah. So thank you for watching, and you all have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.